So, what
Okay,
is your situation?
situation is I've always been in an environment where there's a lot of narcissistic personalities around me, including myself growing up. Like you kind of like live in an environment where like you're used to watching people do certain things, so you follow just the pattern of what you see until you realize that there's some things that you shouldn't do, obviously. So there's always been something that kind of like messes up with my mind a little bit, and is that I'm not good enough to myself because I'm always looking like at the high standards. Like you should do this better, you should work more hours, you should get more money, you should, yeah, be better in general. So it comes to my mind, like my mind beating myself up, saying like, "Oh, you're not good enough." So I think that's what I would like to work on. That phrase that I'm not good enough.
Hmm. Yeah, it's a good one. It's a good one. So, what helps when working this statement, which is one I think almost all of us can relate to, is can you find a particular context or situation to hold as you're working this? I'm not good enough.
Yeah, just like working, just like a few days ago, like I was really tired, but I feel like I should have worked more hours. So I feel like I wasn't. You're not good enough because you should be able to work more hours. You
Mm,
shouldn't get that tired. You should just be able to do it. So, oh, you're not good enough. It goes back to, like it keeps reminding me that like I'm not good enough because of
yeah.
those kind of things.
Okay. Great. So look at that situation, kind of go back to that situation where you were thinking you should be able to work more hours. So you're not good enough. Is that true?
Yeah, I believe that.
Can you absolutely know it's true? You're not good enough when you're not able to work more hours.
No, absolutely no.
Okay. So, how do you react in that situation when you weren't able to work more and you're believing as a result that you're not good enough? How do you react? What happens?
Without it, I feel like there's a weight that I'm just like dropping to the side. Like I don't have the pressure of living up to the standards of somebody else. I just don't feel the pressure of following what other people are saying that you should be doing in terms of, oh, you should work harder. Like you just don't think about it. You just stop when you stop. Yeah,
So,
it's
how,
like a relief.
okay, so you're kind of playing with who you'd be without the thought. But, like, how do you react when you think you really are believing that you're not good enough in that situation and that you should be working more hours?
When I believe it, I feel sad. I feel, can't even think, like depression starts hitting me a little bit there, starting like, oh, here we go again. You're not able to do that. You're definitely not good enough. So yeah, I feel bad. I even feel sorry for myself for not being able to live up to the standards or whatever that is.
Do you notice it in your body anywhere?
I feel the stress. I feel like my body shrinking and like trying to go to like a fetal position or something and just like staying there.
Totally. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I can definitely feel the stress. Can even start sweating a little bit thinking about it. And and just like go back to the past where with all those times that it happened before that I believed that I was not good enough. So I see the flashes in my head of everything going back from there.
Yeah. What are some of those images that come to mind when you think you're not good enough?
Like failure, like when I was not able to achieve something that I wanted. Um, when I thought I could do something and I gave up because it was too hard, or I just didn't have the time, or yeah, like all the times that I failed and I was not able to do something that I needed to do, I knew I needed to do, or I just wanted to do and I couldn't.
Yeah. And do you see any images into the future? Just last week when you were thinking you can't work more hours, you're not able to, and you're believing you're not good enough, what do you see in the future?
Believe in the thought, I see it happening over and over again. That I'm not going to achieve what I need, that I'm going to give up, that I'm going to stop, that I'm not even going to try sometimes. If I know what the result is going to be, then I'm just going to not even try it, you know? I already know what's going to happen. That's what I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah. And how do you treat your work when you think you're not good enough?
The work,
Your work, like your job, the thing that you're doing.
how do I treat it?
When you think you're
Not too
not good
good
enough.
sometimes. If I believe in it, like, yeah, not great. Complain about it. Like, I again go back to the decisions that led me to a certain point, and I decide, I think I should have decided something else, something different. Like, I feel guilty because of it. I feel like, oh, you should have taken a different position, or you should have taken different, or you should have chose a different person to work with, or yeah, it's really stressful.
Yeah. So who would you be last week when you were thinking you should be able to work more hours and you were believing that as a result you're not good enough? Who would you be without the thought that you're not good enough? Yeah. So who would you be without the thought you're not good enough when you're not able to work more hours?
Okay, I would be okay. I wouldn't have to worry about people thinking that I'm not good enough, which brings me to think that I would feel, yeah, I feel happy just with the result, not being able to do it or not wanting to do it more, and being peace with my decision, not to do it, just peaceful. I think that's the word.
Hmm.
Like, I wouldn't be beating myself up because of all the thoughts that came from the past. Just, yeah, just leave it and just be peaceful, be in peace.
Yeah. Yeah. What's it like to quit your job for the day, not finished, without the thought I'm not good enough?
What is it like? It would be okay too. Like, it would be a good decision if I feel tired, or if I feel that I need a break. feels, yeah, there's no guilt on it. Like, just do it or don't do it. And I don't feel the pressure of having to do it because of this or that. Or,
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah. How would your evening go without the thought that you're not good enough?
I could sleep a lot better. That's for sure. And I think my behavior will be better too, like around the people around me, like my family and stuff, will be a lot better. I could enjoy our time together a lot more than maybe having my head somewhere else and not leaving that present, but living in the past or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's a great feeling.
Mm. Cool. So let's turn the thought around. I'm not good enough.
First one will be, I'm good enough.
Okay. So the context is when you're not able to work more hours. So how is it that you're good enough, even with that?
I'm good enough because I worked a lot of hours.
Let's count them. How many hours? Do you have an estimate that day?
Not sure that day, like 12 or 13, something like that. It's a lot of hours. Just thinking about it. A lot more hours than what I should. So
Exactly. I love to see the objective figure there, 12, 13 hours. Like,
yeah,
yeah, and I should be able to work more hours. Yeah, yeah. Start to see the, the reality. So I am good enough. In other words, I have worked enough hours.
yeah, that's true. It's a lot of hours if you put a number to it.
It's a lot of hours.
It's like a lot more than what I should. And I'm still thinking that I'm not
Right,
working enough hours.
right.
Mm.
Exactly. Like there, for me, this kind of work, I've done this kind of work too, and there's often underlying beliefs in there like I can't rest until this job is done, like,
Yeah.
and those kind of things can be great to work as well. But so this is a great example. I am good enough. I've worked enough. And what have you accomplished in that time? Let's look at it that way. How are you good enough in that way?
I got a lot of things done, like completely done. Some that I thought I was not going to make that day for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. Somehow the mind discounts those. Like, oh, yeah, all those things I got done, well, they don't count because I'm still not done. I should be working more.
Yeah. And I'm noticing how it's like tying up everything. If I finish something and I start another thing, then if I don't finish that, it's not enough. Even when I already finished something before that.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
So, how is it enough? How are you good enough if you stop in the middle of a job at the end of the day?
It's good enough because I achieved the goal of the day. Like did, I completed a lot of things that I plan on completing. And if one is not completed by the end of the day, it's okay too, because I can always go back the next day and finish that first and then move to the next thing.
Yeah. It's
It
like an
doesn't have to
easy
be.
win. the next day it's like an easy win. Just, oh, it's already half done. I can finish
Yeah.
that one first thing, already accomplished something. So
Yeah.
good enough, good enough. I love the word enough. Like I'm good enough. I've worked enough. Sure, there's more to do, but it's not nothing. It's almost random. Like when the end of the day comes, what are the chances that I will, at that moment when the day comes to an end, my working time comes to an end, at that moment, my projects just happen to be finished right then. Like, what are the chances of that? It's like 1 in 100, I think,
Yeah. Or even more.
or more, right? Like, that's a very, you'd have to be super skilled to make sure that everything just finished right at the end of the time.
Right.
Like, yeah, what if I'm just done when the time's done and then I start again the next day?
Yeah, it feels like that loop of going back to kind of like unfinished business. Like it disregards everything that you did throughout the day, and it just goes back to, oh, but you didn't finish this.
Exactly.
So it's it reminds me of the wall that is completely white, and if there's just one gray sparkle somewhere, you'll just focus on that instead of like the 99.9% of the wall that is white.
Exactly. Yeah. That's the mind for you. You
That's
work 12, 13 hours accomplishing so many things completely, and then the last project of the day don't get done, so I'm not good enough. And I get tired. I can't do anymore, so I'm a failure because I didn't finish it.
right. And then I go to sleep with that thought, and of course, like resting is not great.
Right?
Yeah, I'm not going with the wings, but with what was half done or started or unfinished.
Yeah. So I'm good enough when I look, depends on where I focus. If I focus on the last project, then I see it's not finished. But if I look at everything I accomplished that day, might be something to even just like almost a living turnaround to look and look at all the things I did that day. Wow, okay, that, wow, cool, cool.
Right. And if you go down the list, if you put like a to do list or something, you'll see a lot of things checked. Like
Yeah.
just one that is not checked, and you can see 10, 13, 20, whatever it is that are checked.
Mm.
They maybe at the start of the day you didn't even think that it was possible to do that many. Hmm.
Changes things. You
It surely does.
suddenly,
Yeah.
suddenly I'm good enough. Like, wow, okay, actually pretty good.
Yeah, that's
And
so
I live,
positive.
and I live in a human body, and that body has a certain limit. And yeah, I can respect that too. Good enough to have a break now.
Yeah. And the body's like kind of letting you know, okay, it's time to rest. And you try to stretch that a little bit more and more until you can't anymore. it's, like, it's like, it's okay. That's the limit.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, thank you, Edwin.
Thank you.
Yeah, my pleasure. My pleasure. This is good stuff. I can relate very much. Very much.